Hello from Singapore, and I'm Pastor Hao from Heart of God Church. It is such an honor to be able to share with you what God has done in our church. All the pastors and leaders in Asia, a big hello to you from Heart of God Church Singapore. And there are about 350 million youths in South Asia alone. So let's work together to build churches and spiritual homes for young people. You know, our church has thousands of young people. My wife, Pastor Leah, and I, we founded the church more than 20 years ago, but our average age is still 22. For us, it's not just about growing the church bigger. It is about growing the church younger and stronger. So here's a little video to give you an idea how HOGC is like. My wife Cecilia, and our youth call her Pastor Leah. She's Cecilia. She is really the one with the vision for generations. God spoke to her when we started our church from Isaiah 58 verse 12. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations. And so she was preaching about generations for more than 20 years. There was a time in the 90s, in the early 2000s, when youth churches were like second-class ministries and nobody talked about generations. She was leading 9 teenagers in our church, in our new church, and she grew them to the thousands of young people today. Now, I was leading the adults in church and it didn't grow. So I joined her. Well, so I always beg her not to leave me because her church will be bigger than my church. Well, so she is the best person to share about how she built generations.
Hey everybody, so good to be able to talk to you here. And since the beginning when we pioneered our youth church, we had a mindset shift. And we say that youth are leaders today, not just tomorrow. When they're 13, 14 years old, they can be leaders. They can serve in the house of God now. We don't wait until tomorrow when they're much older. We need to create opportunities for them to serve now. In the book, I also talked about how we need to empower the youths and don't entertain them. Don't just entertain them, but train them, lead them, and guide them. Don't babysit them, because if you babysit the youths, you will get babies. But if you lead the youths, you will have leaders. So empower them to serve, empower them to lead. And when you do that, you will be amazed. Over and over again, we have seen that empowered youths become producers, entertained youths become consumers. So here's a video showing you what happens when you apply this mindset to leading your youths. And this video shows what takes place in our media control room. Now in this room, youths are behind all the creativity. They are behind all the media of our main services. Let's have a look.
So behind this door, we have the Heart of God Church Media Control Room. Now, we've just finished our services for the weekend, and I hear that the young people were running the entire show. These are young people who come in at about the age of 11 or 12, and they get trained up from scratch, and they ultimately end up running the services for thousands of people. So come on in and let's take a look. Now, I hear that you two girls are in charge of everything. So tell me, what is it that you do?
So I'm Charmaine. I coordinate 8 different departments to make sure services run well.
I'm Joelle, and I oversee the creative aspects of the service.
So good. And how long have you guys been serving here?
So I came into the media department when I was 12, and I became a supervisor when I was 15. So right now it has been 7 years.
I started serving in the lights department when I was 11 years old, and now I've been in the media department for about 9 years.
So great. Come on over here and let's see what we got going on. What are you guys up to?
Hi Dr. Robbie, I'm Ross, and these are the slides that we put up on screen.
Hang on, am I seeing double here?
Oh no, Dr. Robbie, you are not. I'm Rich, and I'm a supervisor in the lights ministry, while Ross, he is a supervisor in the projection ministry who does all the slides for our weekend services.
So good. And how old are you guys?
We are 18 this year, and we came to church when we were 12, and we started serving when we were 13.
So cool. Come on over here. Let's take a look around this area. Who do we have here?
Hi, I'm Jared.
And how old are you, Jared?
I'm 14 this year.
Now, I hear that you are the person in charge of having created all of the screens for praise and worship today. How on earth did you do that?
My trainer, Jordan, trained me.
So, when I was 13, somebody actually trained me, and now I'm helping to train the next generation.
This is actually really typical of Heart of God Church, a 13 or a 14-year-old being trained and mentored by a 16 or a 17-year-old, who in turn is being trained up or mentored by a 20-year-old. In fact, come on over here. Are you the guy who's in charge around here? What have we got going on? And how many cameras do you control?
Yes, I'm in charge of all this, and my name is Sing Yi. I'm 15 years old, and I'm the youngest camera director in God Church. And there are actually 16 cameras, and I lead 10 people on the team, and together as a team, we capture the moments in service.
So good. And Siggy, how long have you been serving here?
I started last year when I was 14 years old.
Wow, that's amazing. Only 1 year in ministry and already the director. The young people at Heart of God Church, they're not just responsible for expensive equipment, but they are trusted with tremendous responsibility to run the entire show. This is generation after generation. The Heart of God Church leadership team really believe in raising up young people for generations to come. But don't take it from me, don't trust my word. Come and check it out for yourself.
So empower the youths, don't entertain them, and you will start to see them being active producers in your church and not just passive consumers. Next, an important mindset shift is generations are reinforcements, not replacements. Now, this is an important mindset shift you need to have if you want to build generations. When I talk about generations, it is not just next generation or my generation, but it is building many, many generations. When we say generations, people think of succession. People think of the older person retiring or dying and the younger person taking over. That is succession. Generations is not succession. Generations is having many layers and levels of leaders at the same time. And if it is about succession, it is too slow. Imagine a 70-year-old pastor looking for a 40 or 50-year-old successor, a replacement to take over. Now, that is too slow and that is too late. Generations is not succession because succession is all about replacement. Generations are not replacements, but reinforcements. Layers and levels, generations and generations of young leaders serving God at the same time. In our church, we have already built 7 generations of leaders, and each generation is only about 3 to 5 years apart. And, the first generation, they came when they were 10, 12, 13-year-olds. Look at how cute they were. But now they are already in their 30s. And out of this first generation, we have raised 3 homegrown pastors. We're so proud of them. But we didn't stop there. We reached out to another generation. And this is the second generation. Again, they came when they were young. Their faces were so adorable. But now they've all grown up. But they are still serving passionately in church. But we did not stop there. We went back down for the third generation, and they grew up again. So we went back down again for a 4th generation. So at the end of the 4th generation, guess what? We did not stop. We went back down again for a 5th generation. And you get the idea. We did not stop there. After a few years, we reached down again for the 6th generation. They were leaders at 13, 14 years old, doing great things for Jesus. Nothing can stop us in Heart of God Church. And I'm so happy to tell you that we have a 7th generation of leaders. And all of them are, again, 13 to 15 years old. Now, in each generation in our church, there are actually hundreds of young people. And they are not only involved in the operations of the church or the worship teams, but they also do pastoral work. They are leading other youths. For example, this girl, Rena, when she was 15 years old, she was already leading 50 youths. Now, she's also strong in discipleship and raising leaders. So she has discipled 5 team leaders who are each leading 10 to 40 youths. Overall, Rena's group had grown to 130 people. And Rena has older leaders above her to disciple her, lead her, and guide her as well. Now, this is such a common sight in Heart of God Church. In our church, there are many other leaders like these. And this is how we do it in our church. In this way, you know what? The church will not only grow younger, but also stronger. We have thousands of volunteers, and 80% of our members are serving in ministry. Because of generations, we have a pipeline of young leaders. It's like a factory producing young leaders. So the church is strong. When you build your church younger, it also gets stronger. And the young people, they're not replacing the older generation, but reinforcing them. Nobody is being replaced. The first generation is still serving alongside the 7th generation. And so we teach our young people to honor the older people for all their sacrifices. We told them that they are standing on the shoulders of the older generation. In turn, we teach our older generation to respect and give space to younger people. We always tell them, hey, it is not a closed circle. In Heart of God Church, we always give space for the young people coming up. And we tell them, the younger people are not here to replace you, but to reinforce you, to make you stronger. The young generation is not here to push you out, but to push you up. Now, I know these mindset shifts will help you as you build generations. Your churches will become younger and stronger. And you know what? Right now, I'm going to hand you back to my husband, Pastor Hao. You know, he gave me such a good introduction. Tonight, I guess I will have to cook for him and massage his feet and do all of that. Back to you, Hao.
Thank you, Leah. So, if you want your youth to grow, here's a mindset shift. Build your church like a home. Our church is our spiritual home. You see, traditionally, this is how we build our youth ministry. What we expect of our young people, it is to believe, become, belong. We tell our young people, believe first, then you become holy, or in other words, behave. Only after that, then you belong. Then we accept you. You are part of us. We baptize you. We give you church membership. So that's traditional. Believe, become, belong. But now, this new generation is totally different. In fact, it is the opposite. You have to make the young people feel that they belong first, that church is their home. So now it is belong, believe, then become. You belong to our church, and then gradually they will believe in Jesus. Then they become Christians. They become disciples and leaders.
Lift up a shout of praise and a victory.